Yo, what is up? My name is Jake. I'm going to be looking over Kinobody's How to Build Superhero Shoulders workout. We're going to be going through it, see what kind of changes I would make, and how I can make this a little more effective, specifically for skinny fat guys or beginners in the gym. And I need to preface this by saying that Kinobody does definitely have a better physique than me, for sure. So I don't know what I'm talking about, I guess, even though I've been doing this for over 6 years, been studying and learning myself, coached a bunch of different men to get incredible results, lose their skinny fat body type, and get to 8 to 10% body fat in 90 days and gain lean muscle. So study quite a bit. I'm a personal trainer and online fitness coach. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Here in Miami, and I'm going to take you through one of my favorite workouts I've done in a while. This workout's going to be really focused on building the shoulders and the upper body. So we're going to kick off with a new movement. This is actually the standing Arnold press. Now, I've been having a little bit of low back pain doing the really heavy seated shoulder press, so I'm doing the standing version. So I'm going to stand up here and push.
So two things. If you're getting lower back pain while doing a seated pressing movement or lying on a bench, doing an incline like he was doing, it's a sign of two things. Either your form is really not good for beginners, that's probably most of the times the case, or for someone like Greg here who probably knows what he's doing, you're just using too much weight. She's using too much weight, doing too low of reps. And if his goal is to become a powerlifter and be really strong, that's awesome. Good for him. But if you're getting lower back pain to that point, I wouldn't really do that. And for me personally, what I've seen with a lot of different other clients is doing a standing variation. It's good because you don't get to use as much weight, like anywhere near as much, as about like less than half. But the thing is, it puts a lot of taxation on your lower back if you're arched. You kind of have to keep a neutral back and kind of shift your gravity back a little bit, which is a kind of hard mechanic for a lot of beginners to understand and get down. So if you're going light, I would say it's all right as a foundational movement, but I would just preferably, I would program this as a seated Arnold press and then still going light to kind of take the pressure off the lower back, especially if he's been having pain with it. But let's continue.
Through. This actually is a really good movement, and there's less compression on the low back. So we're going to be building up to heavy weight, and I'm actually going up to like 65, which is really heavy for a standing Arnold.
Okay, yeah, that's really heavy for a Arnold press. I don't really care how strong you are. He literally said it himself. So I kind of take back what I said before. This is horrible. You're going to hurt your spine, going to hurt your lower back. I definitely do not recommend this. Do not go heavy. Sit down. Do not do this standing up.
Press.
He's maintaining good form. Give him that. Oh, it's heavy.
And I managed to hit 10 reps. So now we're going to rest 3 minutes and go lighter. We can go down to 55s again for about 10 to 12.
So resting 3 minutes when you're doing a heavy movement like this is completely appropriate, and I totally would recommend that. I would say if you were to lower the weight and rest about 2 minutes or do a superset, so do a different muscle group, do chest or back or something else in the meantime, that would save you a lot on time. But if you have an hour and a half, 2 hours to be in the gym, taking 3 minutes rest break is completely fine.
12 reps and really engage the shoulder. And the Arnold press works really well. As you come forward and you bring the elbows back and you press, you really engage more of that medial delt. Usually pressing in front of you is a lot of front delt, but as you come back and press, you really build to the medial delt. So this is our heavy overhead pressing work, which is really good. If you've been doing the shoulder press seated for a while, this is a great way to mix it up. Now we're gonna go.
So does it train the medial head? It's like the side, because the shoulder has 3 parts: the front, the side, and the rear. It does train the side more than just a standard straight up and down shoulder press. But as much as he's saying, no. If you really want to train that, do some side laterals, something to directly target that.
Going to some heavy pulling work. Now, I've been taking a break from really heavy weighted chin-ups and pull-ups. It's given me some elbow tendonitis, so I'm just doing some lat pull down. I'm building up to a heavy set of 225.
Yeah, I'm very careful with joints and elbows with clients and even with myself, because I've had elbow problems on lat pull downs, on skull crushers, where my elbows sort of like lock up sometimes and like scary. So to prevent those elbow pains, it's really in the warm up and then making sure that you're working up to your heavy weight, your working weight, rather than just going straight into a heavy set. 25. Do you see his chest kind of cave right there in that rep? So, not that you need perfect form for everything. Cheat reps have their place, but he's doing 225 pounds for 5 reps. This is completely useless for me. This rep range is dangerous, unnecessary. It's not going to promote as much muscle growth as something like even 8 reps or 10 reps would do. It's super heavy. You can see even he can't entirely handle it because by the 5th one, his chest is caving, and that can cause a lot of pain and injuries in either the spine, issues in there, issues in the shoulder, issue in his joints. So when he said he's had joint problems before, and I see this and I see these heavy movements for no apparent reason, kind of explains it. But if it's his goal to get a lot stronger, that's his thing. But if your goal is to mostly look better, cut down body fat, gain muscle mass, I would never recommend 5 reps ever for anything, especially something like a lat pull down.
On the lat pull down, this actually is really, really heavy. If I weigh 180 and I add 45 pounds to myself, it feels really easy. Well, on the lat pull down, 225 is really, really heavy. So we smashed a heavy set, 225. Now we're gonna go down and do a lighter set, reverse pyramid style, really building the back width.
I like the reverse pyramid idea. I just wouldn't go down to 5 reps. So I would start with something like 8 reps. So working up to a hard 8 reps, absolutely do really well on that. Then 12, then 10, then 12, then maybe 15 at the top. I do like that idea. Another thing, he is not using any sort of straps or anything. So his forearms, as you can see, they are activated like crazy. And I feel like he'd be able to focus a lot more on his back with that. But if his forearms are not a limiting factor at all, completely fine. But for most beginners and for myself, using reps is going to activate your back a lot more than your forearms because we want to train back, not forearms. So notice how he comes up. He's kind of locking in and out of his lats. So as he comes up, right there is the point. See, there's all this tension on the lat. And you can even see it because he's so shredded. But when he comes all the way with his arms straight up, he kind of loses that tension for a second. See right here. Okay, it's still pretty tense on this rep. See right here, it's tight, but it's getting looser. Right there. Do you see that kind of disconnect in the shoulder? That was tension loss, which is obviously not the end of the world, but if you're trying to optimize, you don't have a lot of time in the gym, I would only come up to about like here. Not getting this extra stretch is not really gonna do too much. Just stay in that tension and just keep it moving. You can even see his chest cave a little bit. When you see his shoulders kind of roll forward, it's not really working the back. So what's the point of that? You're just kind of proning yourself to injury.
Now, it's okay to mix it up and do some cable pulls or lat pulls instead of weighted chin-ups. I've paid my dues on the weighted pull-ups, got up to well over 100 pounds, so now we're just doing some machine work. And for me, I really find that my back just grows so easily. I don't need to do much on the back, it just grows. 2 sets a week on some heavy pulls. I have all the back development that I am looking for. And now we're gonna go into some tricep work. So I really, really like the incline dumbbell tricep extension. This just hits my triceps better than anything. I can do tricep pushdowns all day and I never get sore. The incline
The form on those was crazy, not in a good
double
way.
tricep really, really gets my tricep sore, and it doesn't cause the elbow issues of doing like barbell skull crushers where your hands are locked in place. And so I'm going heavy today. I'm going 60 pounds, which is really, really heavy. So for this heavy set, I'm not gonna go all the way to 90. I'm gonna keep it a little more shallow.
Okay, lots of breakdowns. So yeah, I've had wrist pain doing regular barbell skull crusher, so I understand what he's saying with that. And I actually do this variation. I do it completely lying flat, but the incline is completely fine too. But this shorter range of motion does not sound like a good idea, especially with how heavy he's going. Let's see what he has to say.
And just really build that strength and power on the lockout.
Oh Lord. Okay. So there's a lot of scientific studies and things saying that the more you go into the stretch, the more muscle you're going to promote and grow. And he's really just avoiding the stretch in general. So I understand his mindset, but it's kind of a mindset that I had when I first started going to the gym, and I see a lot of beginner older gentlemen for some reason think this same idea. It's like, oh, more weight equals more muscle growth, which is not always the case. It's how much load can you put on the muscle. When you're doing this, you're not maximizing the load on the muscle. You're just proning yourself for injury. And this would, my elbows would be on complete fire with this. I don't know how his aren't. So what I do for this kind of movement is, you see how his hands are out here. I usually move my hand up to the top end of this dumbbell, and I let this bottom part touch my shoulder. So that way I know I'm actually going to that depth. And then as soon as I feel that, I kick right back up. But he's barely getting any range of motion, only doing 10 what are really just partial reps, really not promoting muscle growth, super dangerous with his weight. If you were to drop the weight, go down to his shoulders, he could probably do 10, 12, 15 reps, and I would actually highly recommend that because these will absolutely smoke your triceps. Oh, and another thing. So what he was doing before with the rope push downs, there's 3 parts of your tricep. That part of the doing the ropes, that works the short head, which is this one right here. Now this, it does work that one a little bit, but it mostly works the long head, which is this part from here to here. So completely different movements, if we're being honest. Yeah, this just gives me anxiety. This is gonna tear his tricep. I had a buddy that was doing overhead tricep extension with dumbbells kinda like this and ripped his tricep off the bone with only 45 pounds. He was embarrassed that only that much weight, he was a big guy, was doing that much.
PR, 10 reps, 60s, just to here. Do one more set.
Then I'm gonna rest a few minutes and I'm gonna do a lighter weight. Okay, I'm gonna go down to 50s and really go a little bit deeper, right to 90, and really build those triceps. Now I'm doing a little workout shoot, so for fun, they have the dip machine. So I'm gonna try and max out the dip machine, which was pretty easy, except that I'm too light. So I was like getting pushed out of the machine, but nice little dip machine. It's a little bonus exercise I can do on this day to get a little more chest and tricep on my more shoulder, upper body focused day. So now we're finishing off the
Yeah, it's not a bad machine. The problem with that, yeah, is your weight kinda gets lifted up. Some of them have belts to kinda hold you in place and prevent that issue, but overall, not a bad movement. His form looked pretty good too.
shoulders. We're gonna be doing some incline dumbbell lateral raises. This movement, I love it. I've been doing this movement for about a year and it really crushes my shoulder. Now, usually on lateral raises, I'll do rest pause style, but today I'm actually doing it reverse pyramid. So we're starting off.
I love this. This is actually an amazing movement. So he's supporting his chest, making sure that he's not really using any momentum, just a little bit, slightly, which is awesome. And he's popping out, flexing at the top, controlling it on the way down. He's using really heavy weight because he can with something like this. And I love this. This looks amazing.
Off with like 45 pounds for 10 to 12, which is really, really heavy.
So you kind of see that neck tweak there. That would only be one thing that I'm like, hey, let's kind of pay more attention to because we want the tension in our arms. So anything in our arms is exactly where we want to be moving. Anything here, anything with the chest, anything with the neck, we definitely don't want to tense up in there because I've had injuries where I was on a hack squat, like the machine squat, and pushing really, really, really hard on a really heavy set. And I was pushing my neck into the pad, and I was pushing so hard that I actually tore a muscle in the back of my neck, the only muscle I've ever torn, because I just kept my neck so tight because I was so just tense overall. And when you're going heavy, it's important to just keep your neck relaxed and just put all that energy and power towards the muscle you're trying to work.
We're gonna rest a few minutes and then go down to 35. So once in a while, you can mix up your rest pause training on lateral raises and do reverse pyramid training, but just I recommend doing like 10 to 12 reps for your heavy set on the lateral movements. They respond better to higher reps. And that's the workout today. We crushed it. We did the standing Arnolds. We did some pulling work. We did our triceps. We did the lateral raises. That's really all we need to do. This workout is really focused on the shoulders, the back, and triceps. My next upper body day is gonna be more focused on chest and biceps. And this workout is
Damn, yeah, he's strong. I would give this workout a it's pretty time efficient. There's not many exercises. I would like to see a little more compound movements, so working more muscle groups. Like you said, if you're doing an upper body, including things like the chest, a little bit of core, a little bit of biceps would have been super easy to throw those in there. This is definitely not a shoulder only workout. There was emphasis on shoulders though, so I can definitely see that. Sounds like he got a good split going on here. But I would give this workout a C rating. It's not bad. I've seen worse. I've also seen a lot better. I think with a couple different improvements, this could definitely go better. Don't go as heavy as he's going on things if your goal is to put on muscle, lose body fat. But I'll be enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Watch one of these videos. Peace.